We have news just coming in at this point in time. We are hearing that Indian officials will be in Belgium for next hearing of Mehul Choksi. Indian officials are readying the legal strategy for extradition. Officials are hopeful of a court not to a request for extradition is what we're learning. I'm going straight to Divesh for more details on that story. Joining in from Mumbai at this point in time. Divesh, the Indian officials here seem to be moving swiftly to get Mehul Choksi back to the country. What's expected? Tell us more.
Well, Sneha, if you remember in the extradition process or extradition hearings of Nirav Modi, another accused, prime accused in the PNB fraud case, ED officials, senior ED officials had been to London. They attended the hearing and they gave responses, the legal responses needed at the London court. In the similar manner, this time to senior ED officials, CBI officials and officials from MIMEA would be going to Belgium and will aggressively push for earliest possible extradition of Mehul Choksi. Mehul Choksi, remember, has been detained by Belgian authorities on the request of extradition sent by Enforcement Directorate in the month of September 2024. He was detained on April 12th and is under provisional arrest. Remember, he is undergoing treatment for his illness, for alleged cancer that he is suffering from, and he's been placed under provisional arrest by Belgian authorities on the request of Indian authorities, especially from the Enforcement Directorate and the CBI.
All right, be with us. I'll come back to you, Divesh, in a moment from now, telling our viewers about fugitive diamond trader Mehul Choksi, accused in the 13,500 crore Punjab National Bank scam, has been arrested in Belgium. According to sources, the 65-year-old was taken into custody on the 12th of April from a hospital where he was undergoing treatment. His arrest comes at a time when Indian agencies have requested both the CBI and the ED. They had secured non-bailable warrants against him from Mumbai courts. Choksi, who fled India in 2018, had been residing in Antigua and Barbuda before recently relocating to Antwerp, Belgium, with his wife Preeti Choksi, who was a Belgian citizen. In September 2024, India formally requested for his extradition, but his legal team opposed it, citing his blood cancer diagnosis. ED officials, however, argued that he was capable of returning to India for treatment, just as he had travelled from Antigua to Belgium. Choksi's legal team is now preparing a bail plea, is expected to oppose his extradition in Belgian courts. The central government has welcomed the development, officials saying that Prime Minister Modi had vowed not to spare those who looted the country and also to recover the money that was stolen.
But all I can say is that he has been arrested and it's a client-attorney privilege communication. Other details I'll not be able to give you, but this I can confirm that yes, my client has been arrested. He is in prison at the moment, and the legal remedy that we have is that we'll be filing an appeal and there we'll be making a request that he should be released and he should be permitted to contest his case without being in custody.
What the grounds of the arrest explained to him during the time of the arrest? If so, what grounds has he actually been arrested?
It's a procedure. It's a procedure. All details are yet to come to me. So at the moment, I'll not be able to divulge all the details.
Are you planning to challenge his arrest and ask for bail?
There the procedure is that the extradition request itself is challenged, the process is challenged by filing an appeal, and during that appeal you make a request there that my client should be permitted to contest the same without being in custody because he's not a flight risk and because of his medical condition.
So are you planning to apply for bail as well?
That's a request made. This is not technically called bail. That's a request that you made when you file an appeal.
Okay. All right, now I spoke earlier to the Punjab National Bank scam whistleblower Hari Prasad. Listen into what he said. You know, I want to ask Hari Prasad, SV is the whistleblower in this scam. You have opined in the past that it's going to be difficult for India to get him back. Would you like to tell us why, given that we have, at the end of the day, even though it's come after a decade or so, Tahawur Rana has come back to the country. Of course, there is a sense that as far as diplomacy is concerned, India is obviously doing the right things to ensure that somebody like a Tahawur Rana comes back. Then why not Mehul Choksi?
Well, I don't know about Tahawur Rana coming back, how it happened, but Mehul Choksi, his wallet is strong. and he knows how to appoint the best of lawyers in the world. He will obviously fight tooth and nail to escape his extradition, like what other people have done in London, and Indian government is unable to get them back still now. So same thing could happen in Belgium also. What is the guarantee that he will be brought back? He has a fleet of lawyers and a pallet full of money. So I don't know if they will succeed in getting him back. That's a great news. That will be good for India, and also all those people who have lost money because of him, whom he cheated. So my point is that getting back Mehul Choksi alone doesn't solve the issue. He has stashed away a huge amount of money from the Indian banks as well as Indian people, Indian investors. So getting him back along with money is what is required today. I hope the government of India is capable of doing it. Our diplomatic power is much better compared to before. So I hope that he will be brought back. That's what is my point.
As a whistleblower in this case, जिन्होंने अपनी जान पर खेलकर इसको एक्सपोज करने की कोशिश की इस फ्रॉड को, मेरी उम्मीद रहेगी अब कि सरकार उसको जल्द से जल्द देश में लेके आए और ना ही उससे पैसे जो बैंक के साथ फ्रॉड किया उस पैसे की रिकवरी हो, जो दूसरे उसने अपने बिजनेस पार्टनर्स, फ्रेंचाइजीज, चैनल पार्टनर्स, सप्लायर्स के साथ फ्रॉड किया उसकी रिकवरी हो, जो एम्प्लॉइज का लॉस हुआ उसकी रिकवरी.
More news coming in. India sent documents on Mehul Choksi to Belgium authorities. ED detailed Choksi's PNB fraud to Belgium authorities, sharing details of his UAE and US assets. Documents were sent to authorities through MEA in September 2024 by ED officials, mentioning how Mehul Choksi defrauded Punjab National Bank, which is a nationalized bank in India. A defrauded amount was laundered in the guise of loans, royalties and payments for buying properties like hotels, real estate and others in UAE and the USA. With Choksi, Preeti Choksi also has been accused of receiving the proceeds of crime from banks, fraud and using the same for procurement and buying properties and investments in the UAE and the US. Divyesh continues to be with us as far as details that ED has shared. Divyesh, what more can you tell us about the role of Mehul Choksi and his wife as well, Preeti Choksi, who also has been accused of receiving the proceeds of crime from bank fraud, one of which was carried out in India, which is a PNB fraud, and using the same money for procurement and buying properties investments in UAE and USA.
Well, Sneha, the extradition request that was sent by the Enforcement Directorate in September 2024 was which clearly mentioned the criminality of Mehul Choksi and the money laundering process, how he was accused of money laundering, who laundered billions of rupees from the Punjab National Bank, and this money was further layered using shell companies, laundered to UAE, laundered to USA, where he purchased properties under guise of loans, under guise of payments and under guise of royalties. These monies were layered and further used for purchase of properties, assets in UAE and the USA. The role of Mehul Choksi, role of Preeti Choksi has been elaborated in these documents, and that is what has led to the Belgian authorities further placing Mehul Choksi under provisional arrest. Remember, this request was sent in the month of September 2024, and on April 12th, the Belgian authorities placed Mehul Choksi under detention and placed him under provisional arrest. This after repeated requests by the Enforcement Directorate, Central Bureau of Investigation, and obviously the MEA officials, the Ministry of External Affairs officials, who had been working for extradition of Mehul Choksi to India from Belgium, where he had been allegedly undergoing treatment for various illnesses.
All right. Be with us, Divyesh. Coming back to you in a moment from now. Previously, India Today's Rahul Kanwal spoke to Mehul Choksi's wife Preeti in the month of July 2021. Listen in.
Antigua Prime Minister came on record with India Today to say that Barbara Jabarika, this lady who travelled with Mehul Choksi to Dominica, was his girlfriend. What are you making of the Antiguan Prime Minister's claims that your husband Mehul Choksi actually willingly accompanied Barbara?
As the entire family, we are deeply anguished by the comments of the Antiguan Prime Minister. First of all, there is a police investigation on, and I believe he should have waited for the facts to come out before making these kind of comments. If that lady went supposedly to Dominica, where is she? Where is the Dominican police report on her? When they found my husband in Dominica, he was put into from this boat into a boat of another police vessel, and he told them who he was, that he is an Antiguan, and that he has been kidnapped. Where is the kidnapping report of my husband, which is a crime? It is an international crime, kidnapping. So my question is, where is this boat today? Where is the crew? And where is Barbara?
The Indian government at this time is very hopeful that they'll be able to get Mehul Choksi back. In some senses, your husband, ma'am, has become a showcase for the government's efforts to go after economic offenders. Are you a worried woman at this time that your husband's fate quite literally hangs by a thread depending on what happens in this court in Dominica?
I would say that if this is how you showcase, or anyone wishes to showcase an economic offender by torturing them, threatening to kill them, giving them electrical shocks, it is incredible that any business person feels safe in India. My husband was a businessman. He never had an NPA until this whole saga of PNB started, alleged saga. There was never an NPA in the company. And yet, everything is like he is the biggest terrorist or murderer on earth. I would request Interpol and all the world bodies, human rights bodies, and everyone to understand that this is a kidnapping that went wrong, and it should not be allowed to become a hostage situation. My husband is a citizen of Antigua and Barbuda, and it is the duty of Antigua and Barbuda to look after their citizens. They must take him back.
Telling you a little about the shell companies as far as the sources within the Enforcement Directorate is concerned and how the money trail essentially followed. Let's take a look, in fact, at this, essentially talking about how the money trail of the proceeds of crime war. From Preeti Kothari or Preeti Choksi, the wife of Mehul Choksi, the ultimate beneficiary there was this man who has today been arrested, or rather arrested on the 12th of April by the authorities in Belgium. The company in question here, the shell company, MS Hillington Holdings Limited, under which there was the UAE-based Gitanjali Group, a dummy company. The second one was Goldhawk DMCC, again a company, and Magnus Consultancy. Of course, the money from these companies was siphoned off, and eventually the beneficiary was Mehul Choksi, the person who is yet to be extradited to the country. Of course, the process for the same has begun. Let's now take a look at this report that Divyesh in fact filed from the residence of Mehul Choksi in Mumbai.
We are at the flat gate of Mehul Choksi. This flat is 901. This is a condominium. This is a triplex flat located in the plush locality of Walkeshwar. There is a sea-facing high-rise named Gokul Apartments. And you can see over here, there are various notices put over here at the door of the flat, and this by the Enforcement Directorate. This is again from the Enforcement Directorate. This is the Debt Recovery Tribunal. This is the Central Bureau of Investigation. This again is Enforcement Directorate, and this is from Income Tax Department. This is again from Central Bureau of Investigation, from the court, from the Metropolitan Magistrate Court, from the Delhi District Court. This is a Panchnama, and various such notices have been put over the door, and this flat, this triplex flat, remains shut or closed. It's under attachment by the Enforcement Directorate, by the Central Bureau of Investigation, and it's been shut since 2018. There were searches conducted by the departments, but as it is under attachment by the government agencies, it is shut. And with us is Mr. Priyank Parekh, who's a member of the Gokul Apartments Committee. Mr. Parekh, this flat has been shut, and we hear there's crores of dues that are due to the housing society as well.
Yeah, so since 2018, we are in 2025. So the dues go, so if I give you a breakup of the calculation, per flat maintenance per month is around 25,000 rupees. And he has 3 units. The super build-up area per unit is 2,200 square feet. So we're roughly talking about anything between 6,500 to 7,000 square feet. And so that roughly comes up to 75,000 per month. And then you do into 12 and into 7. So that is grossly around 63 lakh of rupees. This is over a period of time of 7 years.
Before 2018, like 2018 January, this fraud came to light. That was the later part of January, like the 29th or 28th of January. Before that, do you or any of the people knowing him in Gokul Apartments had any idea that he was carrying out an enormous fraud or a elaborate banking fraud, and he would flee from the country? Any idea or any whiff about it? But did you suspect that he could do such kind of a thing?
Yes, never in our wildest of imaginations had we thought that this is what it could come out to be. He used to heavily renovate his units over and over again. So in a short span of say around 20 years over here, he renovated it more than 3 times. And we never believed that he could be guilty of such an enormous amount of fraud amounting to such enormities. In the wildest of our imaginations, never. If we had any kind of information, we would have, taken some kind of action. In fact, what we learned later is through media reports that when he and his wife were staying over here since a long time, on paper they were already divorced. And this was like a shocker, and then we understood the entire game. Okay, that means he had been planning his escapade since a long time, and perhaps he just got the right moment to escape from the country.
So this was Mr. Parekh, a neighbor and a resident of Gokul Apartments who knew Mr. Choksi personally, Mr. Mehul Choksi, the accused fugitive diamantaire accused in the PNB fraud case. He's defrauded the society as well, the housing society, where he owns a triplex condominium, and because of him, the residents of the society are also suffering. With camera person Sachin, is Devesh Singh in Mumbai for India Today. We are present here at the Enforcement Directorate office in Mumbai. This is the same office which is investigating the Punjab National fraud case, Punjab National Bank fraud case, in which Mehul Choksi is one of the prime accused of defrauding the bank of 6,097 crore rupees. And this is the same office which had sent the extradition request to Belgian authorities for extradition of Mehul Choksi last year, when they came to know that Mehul Choksi is in Belgium and he's undergoing treatment over there. Very interestingly, Mehul Choksi had claimed in his request to the Mumbai court through his lawyers that the medical certificate or the medical certificate given to him via a Belgian hospital stated that till August 2024 he cannot travel anywhere, he cannot travel to India or any other place, and he has to undergo treatment. But Indian authorities moved steadfast and immediately contacted Belgian authorities. Belgian authorities then placed Mehul Choksi under provisional arrest on 12th of April, and he is under detention. As of now, Indian authorities are further submitting documents to the Belgian authorities. Some Indian officials could also reach Belgium for the procedure of his extradition. With camera person Sachin Sawant, this is Devesh Singh in Mumbai for India Today.
All right, a series of reactions that have been coming in as far as these developments vis-a-vis Mehul Choksi is concerned. Let's take a listen.
देखिए, मोदी सरकार आने के बाद जो इस टाइप के भ्रष्टाचारी थे या देश से बाहर गए थे, हमने भगोड़ा अधिनियम कानून भी लेकर आया और उसी का ही नतीजा रहा कि आज बेल्जियम में मेहुल चोक्सी गिरफ्तार हुआ है और कानूनी प्रक्रिया पूर्ण होते ही उसको भारत में लाया जाएगा।
मेहुल चौकसी गिरफ्तारी होनी ही थी, कब तक बचते? ये नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार है, किसी को छोड़ती नहीं है।
ये जिस तरीके से विपक्ष की पार्टियां सवाल उठा रही हैं, तो इसमें तो उनको अरेस्ट करना चाहिए। मैं तो कहता हूं विजय माल्या जी को भी लाना चाहिए, नीरव मोदी जी को भी लाना चाहिए, और ये भी पूछना चाहिए कि प्रधानमंत्री के घर में फोटो खिंचाने इनको किसने भेजा था? वो कौन सा मॉल है पीएमओ में जो इन लोगों को वहां इन्वाइट करता था? ये तो जांच होनी चाहिए। हम तो इनके साथ खड़े वेट कर रहे हैं, इन सबको लाना चाहिए।
All right, more reactions coming in as far as India's diplomacy here is concerned. Let's take a listen.
It is a diplomatic victory. It is a victory for our legal teams who've been working on this, along with our foreign office, etc. More so, because 1 year ago, Interpol had taken Mehul Choksi's name off of its red corner notice alert for some reasons. Basically, Choksi had alleged that Indian agents were trying to kidnap him in Antigua and multiple other things. He appealed to the Interpol, so they took out his name from red corner alerts. So thereafter, it was Indian agencies who were tracking and trying to get him to their best. They tried it out to Belgium, talked with the Belgian authorities, must have worked very deeply closely, and we see what we see today.
क्लियर मैसेज है कि भारत में आप फ्रॉड करोगे, भारत में कोई सीरियस क्राइम करोगे तो आप बच नहीं सकते, आप जहां मर्जी भागिए। तो ये क्लियर मैसेज है आज की भारत, आज की सरकार। आप जहां भी भागेंगे, द लॉन्ग आर्म ऑफ आवर लॉ विल कैच यू। और मेहुल चोक्सी फुजिटिव है।
And jump to the conclusion that tomorrow or day after, Belgium is going to extradite him. So there is a legal process. Even if Belgium decides, meaning the Belgian government decides, he can go to court. So whether, eventually he will be extradited or not, at this moment we can't say. But obviously we should try hard as necessary to get him back to India.
So Choksi arrested in Belgium, the fugitive diamond merchant nabbed on the 12th of April. A detailed report on the entire timeline of this entire case. Take a look.
It is the second big coup for Indian law enforcement authorities in 1 week. Just days after 2611 accused Tahavur Rana was extradited to India, the Belgian police have arrested fugitive diamond merchant Mehul Choksi. Choksi is one of the prime accused in the 13,000 crore rupees PNB fraud scam and is in Antwerp for medical treatment. The arrest in Belgium was made after the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate reactivated extradition requests, despite the removal of an Interpol red notice against Choksi. As the founder and MD of Gitanjali Gems, the former billionaire allegedly engineered a fraud over many years which involved his nephew Nirav Modi, currently in a London prison. The two used fake letters of undertakings and foreign letters of credit at PNB's Brady House branch in the Fort area of Mumbai. This was done in collusion with rogue employees of the branch. The financial documents were used to raise credit from overseas banks. Along with Nirav Modi, guarantees worth 11,400 crore rupees were raised to get loans. The funding, instead of being used for importing goods like pearls as claimed, were allegedly diverted and laundered. According to reports, the SWIFT network used across the world for online transfers was gamed by officials to keep the bank in the dark. However, the 65-year-old businessman has remained a step ahead of the law. He purchased citizenship of Antigua and Barbuda in 2017, a year before the scam came to light. The West Indian Islands do not have an extradition treaty with India. He fled the country on the 2nd of January 2018, just days before the scam broke. In 2021, Choksi was arrested in Dominica, allegedly while attempting to flee to Cuba by boat. Authorities deported him back to Antigua, though rejecting India's extradition demands. In March 2023, India suffered yet another blow with the Interpol revoking the notice issued against Choksi. In 2024, Choksi moved to the diamond capital of the world, Antwerp in Belgium. This was for the treatment of his blood cancer. He later secured permanent residency of Belgium. That did not stop Indian authorities from seeking his extradition again in an appeal which was heeded by the Belgian authorities and led to detaining him. Meanwhile, reports say that Choksi's bail application hearing will take place at least after 1 week, which gives India crucial headroom to prepare not only a legal case but a diplomatic one as well. Bureau Report, India Today Television.